Hey, thank you very much, James. I've been actually waiting to be invited for years. Thank you for finally having me, and it's great to be here in front of everybody talking about the topic that I think we're all so interested in because it's timely and it's real. Uh, I'm not going to get into a lot of details about toxins because I think we all sort of have been hearing enough about the toxins in our environment. And really, I want to talk about solutions. So even though we'll talk a little bit about what the toxins are, we really want to focus more on what to do about it. Uh, so I've been practicing in New York City for over 10 years now, and I sort of got started in environmental medicine through personal experience that I had while I was in medical school. And, on a medical school doctor's budget, I was eating a lot of tuna fish twice a day, every day for many years. Next thing you know, my memory was not as good as I could remember, and I was starting to get tremors, and my fatigue was increasing. And there was no answers in medical school for this. But fortunately, during my residency, I met a doctor that was a family practice doc right outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and his name was John Sullivan, and he did environmental medicine. And through some testing, we found out that my mercury levels in my blood were through the roof, and we started a detoxification process that helped tremendously. And ever since then, I realized that it's very important to find the underlying cause of a person's problems, and once you find that problem, there's lots to do about it. So we're going to talk about a little bit about my experience in environmental medicine, what I've experienced, the most successful strategies for helping like 75% of my patients. And then at the end, I want to get into a new technique that we're starting to use for our patients that are the most challenging, that I think that we all might want to find out about, that you may end up using at your practice, but we're starting to use at ours. Uh, so what we're talking about, what the toxin, how do you know what the toxin is, how does it affect our health, and what are we going to do about it? So just very simply stated, toxins basically adversely affect our health. And we know from the literature that there are thousands of toxins in the environment, and there are more being created every single day, and it's impossible to keep up with what they are. All we can only hope for is that we can improve our body's innate ability to detoxify itself, and of course, make better choices so we're decreasing our exposure. The toxins that come from outside of our body come from air, food, water, and skincare products. So from that perspective, we know we want to make better choices. But there's also toxins that come from inside the body. And I think a lot of professionals are not always aware of this, especially when you consider that emotions can have an adverse effect on toxicity, because when people are in an anger state, they're basically in the fight or flight response, and the body can only really detoxify when it's in its parasympathetic, rest, relaxed, and detoxification state. But also infections like Lyme disease and mycoplasma and parasites, which cause inflammation in the digestive tract, and also hormone imbalances, not only because of the skincare products that we're using, but also because the foods that we're eating have estrogenic effects, which then cause hormone imbalances. And then how about allergies today? Basically, like 70% of my patient population has environmental allergies, or food allergies, or gluten sensitivity. And what's wonderful about living in New York City is that the servers are so up on this. They always ask you, so are there any food allergies at the table? And if you say no, they're actually shocked. So thank goodness for New York City. And this is where detoxification comes in. It's partly about understanding where the toxin is and then getting rid of the inflammation. So just like leaves can clog up a gutter, toxins can clog up our detoxification capacity. And what this happens on the cellular level is literally cells are not able to get nutrition or oxygen, and then the cells become dysfunctional. And when the cells are becoming dysfunctional, that's when we are not making energy properly. I like to say that toxicity causes inflammation, inflammation causes poor circulation causes poor oxygenation, and then poor oxygenation causes poor mitochondrial function. And when you think about it, when you have poor mitochondrial function, your body can't make ATP properly. Normally, our body takes one glucose molecule with oxygen, and we can make about 38 ATP. But without oxygen, we can only make 2 ATP, which means that when you're not oxygenating your cells properly, you're only running at about 19%, or you're running 19 times less efficient. And that's why there's so many people out there with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. It's because they are not oxygenating their cells. And essentially, this catch-all term of mitochondrial dysfunction is really a toxicity issue, in my opinion. So how do you know you or your patients need a detox? It would be great if there was a gauge that would just show us. But what we use in our office is a symptom survey. And this symptom survey is used these are the symptoms that usually people have with toxicity, like fatigue, difficulty concentrating, poor memory, digestive symptoms. And then what we use is this symptom survey, which we have on our website, and we welcome anybody to use. We generally have people fill out the symptom survey when they first come into the office so that we can get a baseline, and then we have them fill it out after they go through our program so that they can see subjectively how much their symptoms improve. So this is a article that I published in 2012, which just talked about my clinical experience with using a meal replacement enhanced detoxification process. And what we did is we had people fill out a symptom survey when they first came to the office. They followed our program, and then they filled out the symptom survey at the end. And after 4 weeks, what the patients found and what we found was that they felt 66% better after doing 4 weeks of the program. And truly, that's what we want as clinicians, is to help our patients to feel better. And if they wanted to lose weight, they also lost about 9 pounds, which is not so bad. And probably a lot of that was just water weight, because we know that people with toxicity hold on to a lot of fluid. I wanted to give a little case study about one of the patients that went through this process, because I think this is something that each one of the healthcare providers watching could potentially use in their own practice, it's very simple. And again, this is what I use that helps with 75% of our patients. And all we really are doing is just changing their lifestyle. This is like helping with the transition. We call it a detox process, but really it's a sneaky way to get people to start a transition to a healthy lifestyle. So this was a female attorney / lobbyist who wanted to lose weight and improve her menopause symptoms. But on her symptom survey, her biggest symptoms included fatigue, carb cravings, hot flashes, night sweats, difficulty sleeping, low mood, and memory changes. And on her symptom survey, the goal is to score under 14. She scored a 67. Her weight was 148 pounds, but her goal was 130. And she basically had the standard American diet. We always try to find out sources of toxic exposure. So what she explained was that, she was eating the standard American diet. She was using personal care products that were basically full of preservatives and phthalates and parabens. And she was eating lots of tuna fish, and I had personal experience with that. And she had stress from her father's illness. So we started her on a program, which basically is using a protein shake as a meal replacement, a shake and a salad for lunch, protein and vegetables for dinner. I think by now almost everybody here has had some experience with this. We addressed the sources of her exposure. We recommended she start exercising, have the goal of sleeping about 7 to 8 hours a night, and follow up in 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, we found she basically said, well, I'm starting to feel better. And on her symptom survey, her symptoms improved over 50%. From 67 to 32, she lost about 8 pounds. And on her blood work, we found that, lo and behold, she has gluten sensitivity, and her blood mercury is about 25. For those that don't do a lot of blood work, the goal is under 10 based on the reference range, but our goal is under 2. And she said, I'm feeling so great, I want to keep on going. So after 9 weeks, no hot flashes, no night sweats, her memory is better, energy and sleep have all improved, and now her symptom survey is down to a 10, and she's almost at her goal weight. So, the the bottom line is sometimes it can be really simple to get a person to feel great, to get their energy back, get their digestive symptoms improved, get rid of their hot flashes and night sweats. And it can just start with just the nutritional basics. And of course, we sort of create a structure to this. We like to replace unhealthy foods with healthier options. We remove toxins, and I'm going to get into a little bit how we do that. And then we replenish nutritional deficiencies. I think we're all kind of aware of the toxins in packaged and processed foods, and we like to replace them with much cleaner options. We love the environmental groups, Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen. It comes into play so many times, and I'm handing out this food list very frequently. But as far as detoxification, this is where we want to take an active stance. And I took a picture of, this is a picture of me running the Fifth Avenue Mile in under 6 minutes. And the point is that exercise is detoxification, because when you're sweating, you're removing toxins. When you're breathing and moving your muscles, you're literally pumping your lymphatic system, which returns toxins back to your bloodstream, which then allows your liver and kidney to process the toxins more efficiently. And of course, we want to make sure that we're eliminating properly as well. For those of you that still are wondering whether you can actually sweat out toxins, this was a nice article in 2012 that showed that in sweat, there was high levels of mercury, arsenic, cadmium. And what the authors of this study suggested is that physicians should recommend sweating as tolerated via exercise, or use a sauna as a low-risk, potentially beneficial treatment for individuals who may be experiencing effects of toxic elements. So that could be Swedish sauna or infrared sauna or exercise. And then we always like to replenish nutritional deficiencies. And the ones that I find are the biggest issues are mineral imbalances. And especially, of course, magnesium, which we're all aware of, but also zinc and selenium, manganese, and molybdenum. And the reason those are important is because these are the minerals that are important for helping to make intracellular antioxidants like superoxide dismutase and glutathione peroxidase. And also, they help with improving the body's innate detoxification capacity. So basically what we've talked about is how to use a symptom survey, how to just put a person on a detox program by replacing unhealthy foods with healthier options, removing toxins through breathing, sweating, and eliminating, and then replenishing nutritional deficiencies. And this works about 75% of the time. But for those really stubborn cases, what we found recently, for those people that can't get inflammation under control and you have no idea what else to do, we're finding two techniques that are basically similar applications of a process called low-dose antigen therapy and low-dose immunotherapy, which is coming from work that was done in the 1960s by a British researcher named Dr. McEwen. And what he found is that an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, when used when applied with an antigen like pollen or foods or mold, it helps to improve the regulation of the immune response against whatever the immune system is adversely reacting to. And so that original application was called enzyme potentiated desensitization. It was brought to the United States and was practiced up until the early 1990s. The FDA shut it down. There was a new United States doctor named Dr. Butch Schrader that took over the work. It's called low-dose antigen therapy. He's worked with a compounding pharmacy in Colorado called College Pharmacy, where he makes his antigens. He sells the beta-glucuronidase, and he uses those applications together to turn off chronic food allergies, chronic environmental allergies, chronic chemical sensitivities. And then recently, 2 years ago, an Alaskan doctor named Ty Vincent discovered that he could also apply that same technology to chronic infections like chronic Lyme disease, mycoplasma pneumonia, and other infections that have a molecular mimicry effect on the body's immune response to itself, where he's able to shut off rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, lupus, and Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. So for when you think you don't know what to do next, there's still hope. And speaking of hope, Mother Teresa, I think, sums it up best. Together we can do great things, and that's kind of what the Functional Forum is all about. And we appreciate the opportunity to come here, work together with our colleagues, and make new friends, and learn about what we do together, and together we can make it better. So thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks so much for watching, and for more great clips like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've created a special free video just for you. It's called the 5 Steps to Becoming a Leader in Your Wellness Community, and it'll give you some of the starting points on how to position yourself as the leader in your zip code of your health community. All you have to do is click on the link below.